Well, hello, I'm Nicholas.
And I'm Alex.
And this is Doctor Who on the Twin Review. Jelly baby?
It looks old.
It's a jelly baby. They're jelly babies. They're actual, proper jelly babies.
Oh, they are?
Yes, they're the proper jelly babies.
Oh.
And why does that matter?
Okay, it's Doctor Who.
Right, but what about, wait, there's bubblegum? Jelly baby?
But
Here, take it. Take it! So, Doctor Who had another episode of Doctor Who.
it did.
It did. You know what it was called?
Can't remember.
I'll give you a hint.
Smile.
Yay! So yes, Doctor Who is in its 10th series, and right now they've just seen episode 2, which is called Smile. What were some things you liked about this episode?
I like the emoji aspect of the whole thing.
Really?
Well, especially because of the Doctor's emoji was the
I didn't like it was the emoji thing. Like, okay, I get it that there was the emojis in it, and like it works for our current generation and the way things are going. But I was like, really? Really? I thought maybe in the future there would be less emojis. But I know, you know what? You know what? I figured it out. Emojis? What's going on here? Emojis have become so popular and so big that they will actually transcend the destruction of the Earth to the next generation of humans on different planets. And you know why? It's gotten so big they made a movie about it. The Emoji Movie. That is the catalytic thing that makes this a big proper problem in the future. We gotta destroy the movie. Gotta stop it. Stop the Emoji Movie. Save me from him.
And just a side note, I think they took the aspect of the emoji movie into the episode. Kind of.
Jelly baby?
Sure.
Well, I liked at the beginning how they said, she said she wanted to go to the future. Bill said she wanted to go to the future, and she wanted to go to see if it was happy.
Well, it was happy in a sense.
It was happy in a sense.
As long as you stayed happy. Or you faked happy. I like how the Doctor called Nardole Mom.
Who's that? Mom. Although we did find out something interesting from that moment. Another question that we're going to find out later, unless it was something that happened in the past. He said Nordal. Did I say that right this time?
He said Nordal. It's Nardole.
Nardole.
Think Narwhal. Nardole.
Nardole said to the Doctor that he made an oath. Who did he make an oath with? Why did he promise never to leave the planet with the exception of an emergency?
Maybe looking at past episodes, we might be able to understand that.
That's what I wanted to know. Was this something from the past? Talk to us in the comments below. Did the Doctor make an oath somewhere in the past that we've forgotten about? Or is this something to be unraveled later? Now what about some things you didn't like? Was there anything in the episode that you didn't particularly... you thought was lacking? Because quite frankly, I did not enjoy it. It was a good episode. Doctor Who never disappoints. But I did not find the overall theme or concept as good as the first episode.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough one because there was some good parts, but it felt like it wasn't flowing like most episodes do.
It felt very contained, like it was just kind of rushed and fell together with pieces that needed to happen but weren't necessarily the best dialogue even. Does that make sense?
Kind of.
And I noticed though, the episode of course wasn't written by Steven. It wasn't the writer. He wrote the first episode of the series, of this particular series, but he didn't write this one. He did not write Smile.
But in a sense, I think that's okay though, because...
Oh, sure, it's fine.
Well, yeah. It was a great episode, but like with the new writer coming in, they need to, see, where things went good, and they'll learn. They'll do better. I have faith in them.
I'm all out of jelly babies, so...
What's that there?
Oh, there's a jelly baby in there! Look at that!
See?
There, you
That's
got a jelly baby.
Ooh, yeah, yeah.
But there were some things about the episode that didn't quite make sense to me. And some things that I just kind of didn't like because of it. Some things that felt...
That's easy.
Some things that felt a little unexplained. Like, for example, in the very beginning, when the robot comes up to the girl and she's like, oh no, you got double tears, it's too late for you. And then the robot went with the evil, angry face.
The death smile.
And here's your angry eyes. Hashtag story.
Toy Story.
Yep, that one.
Hashtag Toy Story.
And the little mini robots killed her right away as soon as she was sad, as soon as she was grieving. But in this when it was convenient for them to take their time, when the doctor and Bill were running from the robots, even though they already had tears and stuff and they were upset, now all of a sudden they had time to contemplate. They were surrounded and they were taking their time like, maybe they won't be so sad after all. Why were they given more time? Why? Because they had to survive for the sake of the episode. Okay. But even that, they went down to the engine room. Okay, so we discover that the robots here are attacking those who are grieving, who are sad. They find sadness as a sickness worthy of death. Why then, if that is the case, if that is what these intelligent robots have learned on their own, if that is what they have developed in their own intelligence, why did they go after the doctor and Bill when they went to the engine room? They weren't sad at all. They were exploring, they were discovering, they were quite happy. They were enjoying the interior of this actual human-built spaceship. And yet, here, all of the robots were like, oh, we need to find them and kill them. See? It doesn't make sense.
But then Doctor Who doesn't always make sense.
But it should still be written well, I think. Here's my theory. The only way that I could justify this occurring as it did is that when they went in the spaceship, they found the dead body of the first woman who died on this settlement. And the robots knew that the woman, I'm guessing, the robots were able to figure out that the woman and her death, her existence, was the cataclysmic event that caused everyone else to become worthy of death themselves.
Well, yeah.
So maybe the robots remembered that that woman was down there and was hidden down there for the sake of keeping her away, that event, from everyone else catching the sickness of grief, that perhaps they were concerned they would go find that sickness that contained sickness of grief, and that's why they went after them. That's the only justification I can come up with.
Hang on, there's also the fact that the doctor was going in there to destroy the entire base.
Right, but how did the robots know that?
Because they're everywhere. The smiling things are the interface.
The interface, exactly. You know what an interface does? It communicates between two objects that don't otherwise communicate.
Yes, but the main robots, the nanobots that the entire structure is built out of, sees everything, hears everything.
But then why would they need the interface? See? It doesn't make sense.
Stop with your logic. You can't logic everything.
I can logic whatever I want. I've got a logic screwdriver.
You held it up right next to you.
Well, that's not logical. You're a big guy on history and stuff. With Doctor Who.
Yes, I know things.
Okay, so do you remember the part where they had the magic haddock and they're saying how it's made out of algae? Algae, even though I would say algae, but it's algae apparently in the British place.
Either way.
The doctor's looking out the window all reminiscent and he says, I knew an emperor once made of algae. He quite fancied me. I thought that was just funny. It was just a funny little conversation, but was there an emperor anywhere made of algae? Do you remember an algae-made emperor, or was that just a little bit they threw in there because it was funny?
No, I do remember seeing an episode where there was an algae character. Now, I don't remember exactly if it was an emperor or not.
Is this with the relaunch of Doctor Who? Is it like one of the current seasons, or is this way back in the 60s?
Well, it was more like Tom Baker era.
Okay. So not quite the relaunch, but kind of the relaunch, the first relaunch. Let us know in the comments below if you know the history of the Algae Emperor. We want to know.
Say algae.
It said algae in the episode. Algae. It's the Algae Emperor.
Yes, but we're American. We say algae.
I don't care. It's algae. Algae.
If you don't like his pronunciation, dislike him in the comments.
By giving a thumbs up on this video, you give me a thumbs down in the... I don't know what that's supposed to mean.
No, don't do that.
When we were filming the last episode, you mentioned about the cuppa that they said about in the first episode. Yeah. She was in the shower and she was like, hey, I'll make you a cuppa. Apparently a cuppa is just short for a cup of tea. They said it here because she said, oh, we're just gonna, after... Nordal? Why can't I say it? Nardole.
You can't words at all.
Nardole was gonna put a pot of hot water on, and she said, we're just gonna go have a cuppa in the office. She said cuppa. A cuppa. What is a cuppa? A cuppa is apparently just a cup of tea. You just say a cuppa. Cuppa.
Bring it down.
A cuppa.
Take the pot off the burner.
And at the beginning of the episode, because things that are... I don't know what the word is. I hate words!
Describe it. Use your words.
Death, morbid, Sodom and Gomorrah. Sodom and Gomorrah-esque. What is Sodom and Gomorrah?
That's the thing from the Bible where there was death and a lot of other bad things.
Yeah, Sodom and Gomorrah, deathly things.
Well, it's not just.
What are you looking at? What are you looking at?
Look at you!
You were looking up here. I was like Sodom and Gomorrah and deathly things. You're just like. But the episode, the beginning part, the first death that we actually see, the way that she's screaming, they do that awesomely produced, terrified scream, and then suddenly she is stripped to nothing but bones falling into dust on the ground. What a ghastly, awesome image.
I think that's what you're going for, just ghastly. Not Sodom and Gomorrah-esque. Just
Whatever.
ghastly.
Whatever. It was well done. But things not making sense seems to happen in every episode. Like the first episode, and I don't think we touched on this. The first episode with the water monster, when they were in Australia, why did the water monster come out of the mirror?
Condensation?
See? It doesn't make sense! Ah!
That makes total sense, condensation.
But it wasn't just like...
It was a reflective surface. I think you're thinking too much about it. Some of those minor details don't need to make sense. It's just something to make it more interesting.
But it makes me wonder and question things.
Well, they wouldn't have made it, gurgle up in the sink.
But that would have made more sense. There wouldn't be water down there in like the sink trap thing.
Sink trap. Like a sink trap. But it doesn't always have to make sense.
But good writing should.
I'm guessing yours doesn't. How long will it take for him to understand how to use the sonic screwdriver?
I don't know. How does it do the thingy thing? Don't you make it work?
See that?
Oh, hey, there it goes.
That's something else it does.
Speaking of minor things that I'm thinking way too much into, there was another part in this particular episode that I thought way too much into. Do you know what part that was?
No.
The map. In the map scene, when the doctor goes off and has to find the center engine room, based on the orientation where they were against the wall and the map, the doctor went behind her. Okay? Going down the corridor, which if you orient the map the way that it should have gone, when she said what direction is it, she should have said a left turn to that room. Instead, she said right. Did you catch that?
No.
I did. She gave him wrong instructions based on logical orientation of the map. And I was actually, in the first time we saw that episode, I was like, you know what? I bet that's gonna come back to haunt him, because she's gonna give him the wrong instruction. And I thought it was a little minute detail they figured most people wouldn't catch. But I did. And then it didn't matter anyway, because the doctor had the whole map memorized, and I don't know.
You're reading too far into it.
But I caught it the first time!
It's not the main point.
I said it was gonna be important.
Well, it wasn't. What do you expect to see from the following episodes?
Quite frankly, I haven't the slightest idea, because like this episode did completely throw me off when they had all the people still on the ship. So it's like, I don't really try to figure out where the episode is going unless there's a mystery actually presented to the audience. But it's like I haven't the slightest idea what to expect. Apparently with Doctor Who, you never know what to expect. You never know what they're gonna throw at you next.
And that's why we love Doctor Who.
Indeedicals.
Always keeps us guessing.
Always keeps us guessing.
Even when it enters a question, there's another one to replace it.
Like Doctor Who. Doctor what? Doctor when? Doctor why? The last thing that didn't make sense about this episode, though, it left us with this, which was written because it was clever, which I guess this whole episode was kind of had some little tiny jokes in it, but When the Doctor is finally bringing a resolution to the problem, he brings these two species together. The indigenous population of what were the robots called? Doesn't matter. It brings them together by convincing them, hey, the humans need a place to stay. Maybe I can...
After he wipes their memory.
After he wipes their memory, yes. Which, when they did the big old flash thing, I thought there was an explosion. I thought it was like, oh! The Doctor just exploded everything!
I thought that to it at first.
And then, no, it was just a flashy white...
But
static.
But I did kind of like how he's like, that's right, I turned it off and on.
Turned it off and on again.
I rebooted the computer.
He convinces the robots to let the human race stay for rent. And then it was real funny because the robots got this big money sign in their eyes, like, oh, money. What would robots need with money?
And that is a good question. Why do robots need money? But technically they're not entirely robots. They are somewhat alive. Somehow.
Right, but it's just one of those things like, okay, it was written because it's an episode and it's supposed to be entertaining, and it was entertaining and played well to our human emotions and intellect.
But I think it was one of those, like, filler episodes.
Yeah, well, that's everything too. I was like, the second episode, it did feel a little fillerish, but the second episode just felt too soon. But, hey, we all knew exactly what was going to happen when he said, oh yes, we'll be right back in time for tea. The Doctor is never on time.
No, he is not.
So let us know in the comments below, not above because there ain't any up there, but let us know down below what you thought of the episode, where you think this season is going. And did you have any theories?
No.
In the meantime, we're going to eat some very special chocolate as we end this episode. There is a person by the... That's the wrong side. You saw the wrong side. There is a person by the name of Georgie K, who actually, some friends of mine had a Doctor Who party that I wasn't able to go to some time ago, about a week or so ago, and they made these. So, do you want the Dalek or do you want the TARDIS? Which is yours? Your pick. Which one do you want? It's melting in my hand. Okay, he's going with the TARDIS. Then I will eat the Dalek.
Oh.
So, thank you again for watching. We'll be back sometime in the future, or the past. Or maybe you won't know, because we have our own... You ate our TARDIS!
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to eat this on camera. You look kind of gross. Your lips are all blue and I don't care anymore.
It's very good. Actually, very good.
Oh, it's all blue. The hen tastes delicious.
I know.
Who knew Daleks were made of chocolate? Anyway, thanks for watching. We're going to keep eating our chocolate. And we'll see you next time on Doctor Who, The Twin Review. The Twin Review. Exterminate. Banana.
Hey, it was always good to bring one to a party.
What?
Come on! You don't remember that?
No?
It's always good to bring a banana to a party.
Who said that?
Matt Smith.
I don't remember that.
Educate him, people. Educate him.
I'm sorry. Where I work, there are so many inappropriate jokes that you would make with a banana at a party that I didn't know what you meant.
That's probably why. Well, part of it, at least.
I would hit the stop button, but my hands are covered in chocolate.
I'll get it.
I'm gonna go wash my hands. Oh.
Yes, he needs to learn Doctor Who stuff. Down in the comments, please inform him of why a banana is so important to bring to a party. Why not? Has good potassium. British candies, yummy.